Yo, what up? This your boy T-Dub. What's blazing in sports? We are here live touching on Joe Smith Jr. versus Bernard Hopkins. In the one corner, you got Joe Smith Jr. Very common name, Joe Smith. All right, speaking of common, I will touch on that later. Joe Smith, a guy that has a pretty good record, no losses, pretty good knockout power, has a Rocky type, maybe a Cinderella type story going on for himself right now. Not all the way there, but definitely have a good makings for it. All right, he got his chance to step in the spotlight, fought from Farrah, knocked him out in the first round. Some people call it a lucky punch. Some of them say it was a good timing. You know, I think the guy caught him in between shots and knocked him out. And he has another chance to prove himself on HBO against the one, the only Bernard. Age is just a number, Hopkins, but will age be just another number this time? All right, so let's jump into it. Bernard Hopkins, all right, this guy did everything he could leading up to this fight to get inside of Joe's head. He wanted to get in his mind even before they stepped in that ring. Even in the stare-off, you can see he was staring extra long, didn't want to get pulled away, looking at Joe like he wanted to get to him. Now back to the comment thing, there was a press conference to where he was at the podium, Joe was kind of sitting maybe right here, and he was looking like common man, special man. Do you want common or special? And one of those people going to answer that question now after the fight happened, if you want the common man or the special man. Alright, so jumping into round one, I really want to see what Bernard Hopkins is going to do. I kind of figured what Joe's going to do, come out there, try to land something big early and get the old man out of there, send the guy off into retirement. But I wanted to see what did Bernard Hopkins have left. What did he have in that bag? What kind of tricks he could actually pull out to survive this fight, maybe possibly win this fight and to ride off in the sunset like so many fighters do not get a chance to do because they fight past their years. So round one, you got Bernard Hopkins, you know, he's coming out, and some people, I believe who called the fight, was actually pointing out he was kind of baby stepping. I think Roy said he wasn't. But you can look and see that the movement was kind of funny. Is that the movement because he's a 51-year-old fighter? His body didn't look like a young fighter. He didn't quite fight like a young fighter. The age showed in his face. He still had a little bit tricks though. But at this age, sometimes even though you think it, your body can't pull it off. Now the baby stepping because he was moving around the ring kind of like this here, you know, back and forth. It wasn't a graceful move, you know, where he's really out of range, in the range. And the reason he was moving like that was because since Joe Smith is a power puncher, and most power punchers need to have their feet set to land those big right hands or those big left hooks because they're trying to turn their hips and turn their feet to kick them off so they can get as much power as possible. But if your opponent is keep moving, it's really hard for you to land that shot unless your opponent shows a rhythm and you are able to time that rhythm and catch him. So if he keeps going out left, you can throw something and reach over there and catch him. But since Bernard was taking those very little steps like this here, he was moving, but he was never ever truly out of range. And I really thought Bernard had enough in the tank to beat Joe. I thought. So I predicted this one wrong. I would definitely say that. But I knew that Joe Smith had more of a puncher's chance against Bernard because of his age. Okay, now a guy, let's say, if he was facing Floyd Mayweather, his puncher's chance would go down a lot. But when you're facing an Asian fighter that's getting timed more, getting hit more, getting caught more often, that puncher's chance actually goes up a lot more. Alright, of course it was Joe Smith able to land that big right hand? Yes, he was able to get one in. I think early on, maybe around round 1 or 2, one of those rounds is where they was in tight and he took his right hand and basically just turned it over. And this was almost, you would think, a safe zone for Bernard because he was in tight inside the man's chest, trying to make it a close match because when you're a big puncher, a lot of times you can't get a lot of power on these short punches and a better inside fighter would win. Well, he was able to generate some pop because when they hit Bernard, you can tell it actually fazed him. But by him being a veteran, he was able to tie up, clinch, buy time into the round and to get his width back. So Joe was doing pretty good early on in the round. I thought Bernard was doing okay. He did start to heat up. He found a home for that right hand. I thought he should have used a lot more. I thought he should have used a lot more angles. Some things I didn't see from the old Bernard, you know, his movement wasn't like it used to be. But the old Bernard would move around and now he'd come in, pop, 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 pop. He done it a little bit. You know, don't get me wrong, just think about it. He done it a little bit, but he wasn't as consistent. Maybe because back in the day, he was just going on his actions, his reactions, and just, you know, most of memory when he was doing all those things. And maybe now, at this age, instead of it just happening, he may be having to think a lot through it. And a lot of times when you got to think through a fight, you know, that's when you get caught. You want to just be prepared when somebody throw a counter, you counter back. You don't want to have to be like, okay, I'm waiting for this. Okay, now it's counter, because a lot of times you're going to be there too late. Now, some things that Joe won his fight, okay, and I'm going to get to how he won his fight. But Joe did show some flaws, you know. He was chasing Bernard. He never did cut the ring off. He threw some wide shots. But the thing is, sometimes, you know, you can have a lot of flaws. And if you got really good power and the person you're fighting is got either a questionable chin or your power just that much greater, you can still get the victory. Now, the reason I said this was a beginning of a Cinderella story or a Rocky type story is because he needs to fight the likes of a Kovalev or a Ward or someone like that for people to give him true credit. Because now he beat Bernard, you know, and some people are going to give him credit. You know, hey, you beat a crafty fighter that was winning. Okay, he was coming off a loss, but he was coming off a loss against Kovalev. You still be a crafty, soon-to-be veteran going down in history books fighter. But then a lot of people are going to say, listen, this is an old 51-year-old Hopkins. His body didn't look the same. He didn't move the same. This guy was pretty much a shell of himself. But the thing is, Joe Smith is now in the light. He is now in the light, and it's up to what his action do going forward that's either going to keep him in the light or take him away. And the thing that can keep him in the light, he has to keep winning. And if he can keep knocking people out, go for it. All right, so early on in the fight, there was a headbutt, questionable headbutt. All right, guys, I mean, if you thought it was accidental, good. If you thought it was an old B-Hops move that he done before in the past, whatever you think, comment below. Let me know. But I do tip my hat to Joe's team, because after that round, I don't think I even saw much of that cut at all. I think they guys used some super glue, sealed it up, because after that is when Bernard started landing that right hand. Pow, pow. He started coming over the top. Bernard was landing some nice short uppercuts. He was actually doing well. I mean, like I said, he still wasn't the old crafty Bernard Hopkins that we remember, and I thought he had a little bit more craftiness in him, but you know, age catches up with people, and the way this fight ended, let's go and get to that. It's the 8th round. All right, we got Bernard Hopkins along the ropes. All right, you got Joe Smith, which he did a very good job. He didn't smother himself. You got Bernard along the ropes, you know, trying to dodge shots. He kept a little distance, and he was just throwing those shots. Trying to get him out of there. You know, some of them was landing, some of them wasn't. And then you get, all of a sudden, you see Bernard go through the ropes, hits the ground. Instantly when I saw that, hands was up. I believe I can fly. Then he hit the floor. After that is where a lot of people start looking. You know, he had 20 seconds to get back in the ring. So once he hit, you know, and he was getting up, I'm like, okay, B-Hop, get up, get in the ring, get up, get in the ring, you know. And he wasn't. He said, I can walk, but I can't fight on it. You know, he pushed me, he pushed me, he pushed me. All right, and then obviously it's on the replay, you didn't see a push. So do you believe Bernard Hopkins really thought he pushed him, or do you think Bernard Hopkins was just making an excuse up? Now, me personally, you don't really know, you know. Obviously, it wasn't a push. You know, the guy just threw nothing but punches. But for B-Hop not really maybe seeing those punches, maybe he thought that the punch was so powerful and had so much force behind it that when it hit him, it pushed him, you know, because he went through that rope fast, you know, and that's power. And that can happen. I remember even scoring myself, I hit a guy, he was bent down, hit him with an uppercut and knocked him out of the ring. So it can happen. Good thing it was a sporting ring, it was flat in the mat. You're not falling, I don't know, 4 or 5 feet onto the back of your neck. So, you know, he wasn't able to continue. He was counted out. Joe Smith is in the spotlight as Bernard Hopkins fade out of it, okay? This probably should be his last fight. You hate to see a veteran go out like this. A guy that put 28 years of his life into this sport. He had kind of a roller coaster. He was looking pretty good at the end. You know, I would rather see him go the distance and either lose going the distance or something like that, or win or whatever. I still kind of root for Joe. You know, like, it's something that makes you want to root for the underdog, but it's something that makes you want to see that old lion roar one last time for a victory, which it didn't happen. You know, this is going to be something that's going to be stamped on the end of his career. Probably won't make a huge impact, but still, it is a lasting memory. The last memory of people will remember of him being actually in the ring. So I think his career should be over. I tip my hat to him. Now it's Joe Smith time. Like I said, his story is really just beginning. He's in the spotlight, you know. The best case scenario, if he jumps in there right now with Kovalev and them other guys, not just fight some random guys, but to keep on fighting big names, and he can move up pretty quick. So guys, you know what? I think I'm going to cut off there. I got to make a run, but always comment below, let me know, take time to subscribe, follow me on Twitter at What's Blazing, the YouTube channel, still working on the Instagram. This your boy T-Dub, What's Blazing the Sports, and I'm out.